Are you experiencing Sovol Zero Wi-Fi issues? Well, you're not the only one, because when I received my Zero 3D printer, it took me 2 hours to connect it to my network, whereas my other 3D printers is a fairly trivial task and takes about 2 minutes. So to fix the Sovol Zero Wi-Fi connection problem, there are 3 main steps we can take. First is that we're going to connect the USB drive with the Wi-Fi details to the printer itself. Second stage is that we're going to connect the Sovol Zero to our router using the Ethernet cable. And the third stage is that we're going to SSH into the Zero and use command line interface to connect to the Wi-Fi. So let's get started. Alright, so the first step is going to be on the USB drive. We need to open this wifi.config file in the notepad. And here you want to populate your Wi-Fi name and the password to this Wi-Fi connection. Now, one gotcha with the SSID is that Sovol recommends to remove any underscores in the name. So if your network name, for example, has network_name, then it makes sense to just change it to network name. Now, the second piece of advice that they have is that they want to split the network into 2.4 GHz and some other band. Now, I tried doing that. I tried changing it to 2.4 and 5 GHz, and it made no difference to the Wi-Fi connection between the router and the Sovol Zero. So Sovol Zero still failed to connect to my Wi-Fi. So I'm not sure how useful this advice is, and it's really up to you whether you take it or just ignore it. The second stage involves connecting a router to the Sovol Zero using Ethernet cable. And then we also need to insert the USB drive that we were just editing into the Zero. So now we can do the third step and SSH into the printer. Before we can do that, we need to acquire the IP address of the Sovol Zero. So there's 2 ways to do that. The first option is that you can use the screen of the printer and use the show IP address option. And then after a few seconds, it's going to demonstrate you the IP address on the screen. The second option is that you can go to your router settings, to the dashboard, and then you'll be able to see a list of all the devices connected to the network, and then you'll be able to find the Sovol Zero in that list, and then you'll be able to see the IP address there. Okay, now that we have our IP address, we can SSH into it. So I'm going to be using command prompt for this step, but you can also use PuTTY for this as well. So I'm going to say SSH, and then use the username Sovol at the IP address. The password is going to be Sovol as well. And by the way, here are the details on the documentation on the Sovol's website for this. And now we're in. Okay, now we can run the special command to connect to the Wi-Fi. So the special command is called nmtui. So just like I said here. And we want to activate connection. So using the arrows on your keyboard, we just say activate connection. And here there's 2 things we can do. The first one is that we need to, using the arrows up and down, we need to select the network that we want to connect to. And then using the arrow to the right, we can activate it and pressing the enter. And then for the wired connection, we need to find the wired connection and we can deactivate it because we don't need the Ethernet connection anymore. So deactivate, and that should be it. To verify that our fix worked, we can go to the information tab of the screen. Then the show IP address option, and then after a few seconds it will display the IP address acquired through the Wi-Fi connection. And then we can also use this IP address to access mainsail and control our Sovol Zero through the browser or the slicer. So these are the steps I took in order to connect my Sovol Zero to the Wi-Fi network. I believe some of these steps might actually work for other Sovol 3D printers. Let me know in the comments if you've tried them. And if you found this video useful, consider subscribing. Cheers!